Oh, Morning, 9 a.m. on Friday, December 13th, 2024. Call this meeting of the Wichita County Commissioners Court to order. All right, we're going to move around a little bit with the schedule based on people's availability and when they're here. So first, we're going to do item number 2, receive status report on salaries and overtime. Everyone should have a. That's weird. Showing up. Everyone should have an email from yesterday at 4:15 p.m. from Wilmer with the packet. 2 packets.
Wilmer, can you tell who is using the punch-in pads and who's using, you see that right now, the volume of activity?
I could, yes.
I noticed, this one I noticed people at all the time. I don't know if my guys utilized, we were a test station initially and we put one in my break room. Do my guys punching in on it or are they punching in on the phone?
I'd have to look, Commissioner. I could give you an answer.
Yeah, we have to check actually each of the time segments and see, because each time segment goes in hour time.
Okay.
Well, I think that's a first. Our projection from the previous report for all SO time went in the positive direction, not a negative direction, to the tune of nearly $500,000. All right, y'all let me know when you're done looking at everything.
What makes the discrepancy in 561 between 2 pay periods? When overtime hours are down by 500 hours and regular hours are down by 1,000 hours, why?
Part of that staffing. So they've got their staffing almost up to, I think they're 3 or 5 short.
Yeah, they're getting close to.
So
That would make a lot.
that would make a considerable amount of difference. I do know that we had some formula issues in there from the last pay period, so that could be part of it as well.
Jeff, you talking about, let's see. So we've got the overtime's down 500, the holiday is up 800, and the regular salary's down 1,000. Is that what you're talking about?
And, I mean, that's a lot of time, even taking into account, and, I mean, how do you, the holiday pay, why is holiday pay double compared to the
It was
previous?
because of 2 holidays for Thanksgiving instead of the one that was in the Veterans Day.
Mhm.
So it actually is just a doubling of days for this previous period.
Oh,
Right, and then we'll have it coming up for this next pay period as well, or we'll pay period after it for Christmas.
what did, made me think, we had, this issue came up, what did we do for 25 on the holiday, the Christmas holiday?
We bumped it to
3
3
days.
days
Okay.
and removed
25th and
Columbus.
26th.
Because the appraisal district wanted to take that day because there's nobody over there. And they're kind of a little concerned that nobody is in the building and people, you know, there's no security, no nothing. So we went ahead and matched up with.
Right.
We moved today, didn't we?
Yeah, we moved from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Columbus Day.
What I was thinking, which makes a lot of sense, really.
Any questions on, oh, sorry, you still looking, go ahead.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Alright. Let's move to item number 3 then, review and discuss regular bills.
Well, let's don't talk about that.
That's from Matt, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, it's like the old boy that was the barber, he says, you know, once you get the shears paid for, it's all profit. He said, I've been paying on this pair for 40 years.
Well, they are a little high this round. I think it's about a little over 1.4 million. 890,000, I'm trying to find that email. Of that was to the LPPF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We seem to be end of the year heavy on the payments that they ask for, is that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I still think we should open a credit union and deposit our bond money and LPPO money in the credit union to make our own interest for the credit union.
Oh, county credit union.
How would you charter
I
that?
don't know.
That'd be
What is the
interesting.
travel for on all of our results? $189.
Let's see.
I guess I could have clicked on it.
Where was it, Mick?
It's travel, it's a debit card.
I didn't like that.
Kalahari, Round Rock, Texas.
Is it a prepaid or something? I mean, maybe that's what it is for something
Yeah,
coming
it's
up.
Kalahari, but let me. Where at?
I mean, I haven't been to Kalahari in a long time.
It's in April, yeah, it's the,
It's
Oh, is that
the
the one in
risk,
April?
it's the insurance meeting.
risk and safety.
Oh, that must be
It's the class charge.
a class charge, okay.
And it looks like, is the deposit a, do we get some of the money back from them for that one?
Yeah, we get so many free.
If we earned it, we didn't earn it this year.
Oh, we didn't earn any frees?
No, we had a
We
bad
did
year,
get
we had a
two.
bad year at the LEC.
I thought it was just a bad year
What
at the
is
courthouse.
Corvus, FOR?
That's our external auditors. So that's the final billing for the 2023 audit, and then also the revisions to the 2022 single audit. Yeah. Yep, so that's the, like Judge said, that's the April 8th, 2025 to April 11th, 2025 Kalahari Reservation Commissioner. But on the Forvis invoice, we were billed $12,000 to finish out the 2023 single audit, 2022 revision single audit. They took a $12,000 loss on their side. They met us halfway just because of all the stuff that went into it. And so it could have been much more extensive, but we were able to work it out.
What made it be expensive for them?
So they had to go back and do all the research, well, not all the research, but they had to do all the review of the ARPA-related items for the 2022 courthouse-related projects, and they had to pull invoices that we provided them and review those, make sure that they were up to single audit compliance. Then they had to do the same thing for 2023.
Will you bid that, Matt, or will you stay where you're at?
So I think next year is year 4. Yeah. And I mean, we're gonna have a change of partners, and we're just kind of gonna see how this next year's audit goes, and then go from there.
On the travel, back to the travel deal, that's a conference that's happening in 2025,
Mhm.
but because we're doing the reservation in 24, it's showing up on everyone's 24 budget.
Right. So it's going to be, we're gonna reverse that, put it into a prepaid account, and then it'll be reversed from the prepaid account and put into their expense account in 2025.
You got it all figured out.
He does.
On a quasi-related question, talking to veterans this morning, they're finally going to file to get a reimbursement on a veteran burial. Do we need a separate account set up to receive that into?
I don't think it would be a bad idea. I think
Okay.
that it would be a great idea to have a separate account for that. Do you agree, Stephen?
We're gonna seek to get reimbursements for all of our veteran burials, current and moving forward, and some in the past, and use that to fund some work out at the cemetery.
I mean, we could, other than maybe just part of Jen, because that stuff goes through Jen anyway, have different accounting accounts for it as opposed to.
Yeah, we could create a new cash account, and that would be where, that'd be fine.
Yeah, that's the way most of that stuff goes, because we've already got, 60 bank accounts.
Yeah.
We work through.
Yeah.
If it's-
What's one more?
If it's accounted for in Jen,
Yeah.
it's just, there's a lot of stuff that goes through Jen as opposed to use that for other reasons.
Yeah. it's
Either way,
nice
it's
cash.
fine.
Yeah,
It's
just- If we receive the reimbursement, I'd like to put it aside for enhancements out of the cemetery. 'Cause,
Okay.
we know we
So yeah,
really have
just
a
for
pot
future
for.
billing, we'll just have to make sure that we notate that that's to come out of that account, so we can make sure that the cash is reflected.
Okay. It's not a great deal of money, but.
Yeah. Every little bit helps.
And when y'all input that in, you'll reflect it in that, one of their fees or line items within their department, is it gonna be R&B 1? Is it gonna be a separate? I'm just trying to think through how's that's gonna be reflected in the overall financial picture.
So it'd be reflected as a general fund cash account. And then it would,
Would be revenue to which department?
right,
That's the question.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we could just offset that expense.
Okay.
I'd prefer to record it as revenue and expense, but then that's gonna throw that budget for 405 out, or whichever one we do, 656 or 405.
Okay.
Burials.
When is that gonna start, Mark?
They're turning in the paperwork for the first one today. So,
We may need to to have a discussion offline about how that's best to handle.
Okay.
So it's able to be accurately budgeted. I'm not worried about the accounting of it, I know y'all got that, but from the standpoint of
Accurately
our-
reflected into the correct department.
Right,
As a revenue stream
okay. Is that coming from the feds or from the state?
from the feds.
Okay. Everyone good, or still looking through it?
Got it.
If you're still looking, that's fine. I don't want to push, but I also don't want to wait
A
around.
couple more.
Yeah. The good stuff's not in it.
I'm slow, sorry.
You're good.
You're out of order.
Yeah. I dragged and dropped them and didn't do it how Margaret usually does it.
You get used to it a certain way.
I
now,
know.
come
That's the
on.
difference, yeah. Anytime anyone other than Margaret does it, it's not right.
We are missing Margaret right now, big time.
Makes no difference whatsoever.
Speaking of LPPF, when is it typically in the year that the hospital comes over and Bob Burt gives the presentation and we have to renew it? Is it in
I thought it was
early?
March or April.
Okay.
Is it every year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
4:00 on Christmas Eve. We did that one year.
Oh, to get it in? Well,
That was the first year, wasn't it?
First year.
Yeah.
Who scheduled this?
No comment.
We cringe.
Okay, I'm
Good.
done.
okay. Any questions on bills? All right. Let's go to item number 4, receive report of money received and dispersed, debts due to and owed by the county, and all other proceedings in the treasurer's office for the month ending November 30th, 2024, as required by Texas Local Government Code, section 114.026.
I hope you put the whole statute on there so you have to read it.
All right, there'll be a test.
Thank you.
And apologize for not being here on Tuesday. My daughter was home sick. Managed to get her to go back to school yesterday, so things are sort of on track. But,
Getting sick right here at the end.
yeah, she almost threw off her test exemptions because in Allen Park you have to have a few absences. She tries to toe that line as close as she can. November was a fairly plateau kind of month. We didn't see a whole lot of difference going out or a whole lot of difference coming in. We made a couple of small changes. The big one for me was we moved some of the excess jury money into we opened a Texas class account for a jury, which we've never had before. We've been earning 0.15 on jury money. So now moved 130,000 of that into getting 4.8. So
That's good.
I don't know why we hadn't thought of that before, but it occurred to me and everybody was good with it, so we went ahead and did it. And
So that's a pool, Texas class, we're going into another pool.
Yeah, it's in the investment pool. And we did that near the end of November, and we already made almost $400 in interest by having it there, as opposed to the $11 we made in our bank account. So it's not a whole lot, but buy a couple of good Lego sets.
It's better than a slap in the face.
Yeah. The other exciting thing didn't actually happen until the very beginning of December, but our LEC bond account that we've been paying the bills out of, we zeroed that out. So we paid the last check and moved the interest over into permanent improvement. It was like $16, I think. So the money that we took in from the bond has all been expended. And so we're just paying off the loan at this point.
A small loan.
Yeah, just a little one, 93 million or so left. Tex pool and Texas class, we see that it's gone down just a little bit again.
Are those, so Stephen, those are two separate funds?
Which ones?
What, text pool and text class, when we see, for example, precinct 4 showing 697 in text pool and 689 in text class, that's correct, right?
Yes, those were, the beginning of November.
Okay.
They're just two different investment pools. There's several of them out there. Those are the two. We've always had text pool, and then we opened Texas class because it's easier to work with.
Yeah.
And they've got fairly close to the same interest every time. A little bit different, just to kind of diversify. Plus, text pool tends to work on almost like MS-DOS kind of technology, which is like old computer tech. It's cumbersome and difficult to work with, especially with passwords and stuff that get messed up. It takes lots of phone calls and talking to people's bosses to get it to work right.
Huh.
It's just kind of, in my experience, it's been frustrating a lot of the time. Texas class also has a two-person authentication, so that I couldn't just go pull all that out without anybody else noticing. I wouldn't, but I like having that extra bit of security there. Just for several reasons, went with Texas class on that. But that we did, I think, in March was when we opened those.
Is there a reason to, I guess, aside from diversification, which is its own positive, but is there a reason to not move more of it to Texas class since it's easier to work with and the interest rate's a little better?
No real reason. I've been doing it kind of as we go.
Okay.
When we need money, I've been pulling it from one or the other. Usually pulling it from text pool and then moving deposits into Texas class. So kind of keeping them close to even, because there are some months where text pool is actually a little bit higher.
Is it? Okay.
And those numbers on the paper, the interest rates on the last day of the month, but the daily
It can.
yield can be different too. So. And also a little bit, I don't have it in this one, but it's in the investment report showing what they are investing the money in. And sometimes text pool is a little more conservative than Texas class is on what they're investing their money in. As far as, I think this last one, Texas class had a lot of commercial paper, which was very high certified, and it was safe, but it's, a lot of people don't like that. So they both do good things at different times.
So they're not just diversification for its own sake, but there's actually,
Yeah,
okay.
It wasn't that long ago when that entire column had nearly negatives in front of it.
yeah.
Oh, the interest earned?
On the interest, they're all down in the teens and whatnot. Which I added a page in here just kind of to make myself feel good, which is page number 5, showing total interest earned across all of our accounts for the year. As a government, we only get money from taxes or fees, except when we can get it from interest from the banks. And if you look on there, I put across all of our accounts for our major funds, you can see how much each precinct made in interest over the year. And at the total at the bottom there, $2.8 million in interest for 2024, not including December. So I'm hopeful we can get that up to $3 million, so I can say that big number. But that's a lot of extra income we've been able to generate.
The graph at at the bottom of that interest earned, I assume that spike early is because we're long on cash there.
Yeah, and it's gonna match pretty closely to the amounts that are in our bank accounts on the page before.
You see it coming in.
Mhm. The higher the balance, the more interest we're gonna have, and the converse. The lower the balance, the lower the interest amount.
That spike is what we're all missing in our personal portfolio.
Yeah.
That's the interesting, that's interesting to follow though. Kind of shows you how we do business, doesn't it?
Mhm. So that one, I put that page in there just because I watch that every month, and I felt like y'all should be able to see that. $2.8 million coming in just from generating interest by keeping our money in the right accounts.
Yeah.
That's big for the taxpayers. That's a lot of money.
And I would remind everyone that about 20% of that is ARPA that we aren't touching for some
Yeah.
time, but yeah.
So our total cash balance is flattened, are we starting to see it come up now?
I have seen, I think, 2 checks come in that were over $1 million from tax. So it's starting
Starting to
slowly,
come back
it's starting
up.
slower than it did last
Spike
year.
up?
Yeah.
You'll
I'm
see
hoping-
it hit this next week, right?
Yeah.
This next week or week following.
Yeah, the next
Well, I
couple
mean,
we'll
the-
see more, but.
Where we're at in November is still on the same trend as we would have been in the previous years, except for what we spent out of ARPA.
Mhm. Yeah, and then we went up a little over 400,000 in November as compared to the previous months where we've dropped every month, so. We sort of plateaued, built a little bit in there, and then hopefully in the next couple, we'll see it bounce way back up. Again, except for the amounts from ARPA, we spend that and we don't get it back, so.
Now, refresh my memory now, does that ARPA interest have to go into those ARPA projects?
No,
No.
It doesn't? I
we
was,
just
for
decided-
some reason,
We're just putting it in
We're
that separate
keeping
account.
it back, just in case we need, if at the end of the ARPA deal, we find out that some of it was wrongly categorized, or we need to fill in the gap, we can.
Yeah.
But then after that, it'll be,
I was thinking it had to go back, and really, it's good to keep it separate anyway, because it could give you a false reading down the road when you looked at that in a year or two.
yeah,
You might, it would skew the numbers.
With the ARPA and like the RS, if you don't get all of your qualifying expenditures to qualify, then you get a love letter, right? So they're gonna give you a love letter that says this project did not qualify. Well, luckily for us, we have plenty in lost revenue that we didn't spend. So regardless, we should be okay.
Use
But-
that as a.
Right, but if you didn't, then they're gonna say, okay, you owe us back $1 million, and then we've calculated your interest and penalties on that 1 million to be this, and that would have to come out of the interest that we earned. So
So it's
that's,
good to, good to kind of have it set aside.
to backstop.
Mhm.
we don't want love letters.
No.
You want us the full sum back?
yeah. They've been notorious about changing the rules as they've been going along
That's what
too. so-
everyone's afraid of.
Yeah.
Yep.
Imagine changing the rules.
So that's been fun. But other than that, everything seems to be pretty much status quo for November. Again, hopefully we'll see more of that money coming in and be able to start putting it back into the accounts and start earning more on it.
There's Mark messing up the precinct major expenditures list again.
That's a big one, Mark. It kind of takes your breath away when you look at that.
In fairness, that was a couple months ago. They just didn't bother to cash the check until November.
Yeah.
That's good, that's why I drew interest on that.
Yeah, except that I have to have it in our checking account earning .1, so it irritates me a lot because we've got $1 million sitting there earning nothing.
That's funny.
Mark, you made my day because I was whining about repair costs, and then I look up there at that line, I think, oh, we don't have it too bad. It's not too tough.
Come out pretty nice though.
Yeah.
Wished I could get this drive.
Long-term investment.
You can, them guys are slow in the winter, they just 2-inch roller and streamline.
Yeah, then it doesn't meet minimal weather reflectivity standards, and then somebody,
Stephen, where do I see the balance of INS account?
They'd be so mad if you told them.
It would be under debt for the bank accounts. They're
Ian Milford.
down near the bottom. in green, and then the,
So is that, it's gonna be called debt, that's the debt
it'd
service
be debt
line?
service, yeah, debt service and INS are the same.
So is there just over $1 million there? Or am I missing one? I see text pool and
Yes.
text class.
Yeah,
About
between the two of
1.5.
them, that's a little over $1 million, and then there's about 500,000 in the bank accounts that has been coming in that I haven't moved into the text pool yet.
But, and then our first payment's due
March.
in March, okay.
Mhm. The payment in March is 1.2 million, so we've already got that in our accounts.
But remember, we haven't had our big payment of ad valorem taxes.
Yeah.
Right.
We haven't had that come in yet, and then it's not until September we have another payment of 2.6. And that's our only outstanding long-term debt at this point.
Is the last week of the year the big hit on the, at the long taxes? That's when I do.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
January.
Usually it's the beginning of December, so here,
Yeah.
this past week or the week we're in, or even possibly next week, all the banks will release those ACHs to the,
Oh, that's right, I forgot,
Tax
so much
assessor.
of it's tied up in, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's big.
yeah, those are usually massive amounts.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of our big spikes have been in January.
I always like to watch it, because I think it gives us a little bit of an indication as to, you know, I think that's just a good barometer of how things are going, what people's, you know, attitudes are.
The curve will look a little different this year from last year because of the issue that happened last year where the notices went out later than,
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
because of the fight over the software issue, not internal to us, that was nothing related to Wichita County, but.
There's something about writing that check to Tommy Smack. I don't know.
Any other questions for Stephen?
Yeah, looks good.
As always, thanks for the report, sir. All right, we will go back to to review and discuss jail maintenance projects and work orders. Good morning, Chief.
Good morning. My apologies. It was 10.
We gotta keep people on their toes and see if people are actually reading the agenda.
Well, we can read it. Top
For the
part
time.
necessarily. I don't have the update yet. Well, never mind. It just came in. Just usually comes between 9 and 10. Let me pull it up here. We worked on the entrance gate and cameras again, having to pull wires. I feel like the wires are bad as well. We also had to pull wires for the cameras at the gun range. And one of those cameras faces back towards that gate. So, still waiting, I'm guessing, for the surge protectors on those electrical boxes that we talked about several months ago. We did get the lights fixed in the hallway. There is working on a quote with Trinity for roofers for the leaks in hallways 1 and 2 by the RTUs. So they're leaking again around the units.
They leak around the curves or?
No, just right there where the unit's set at, yeah.
Boy, it's hard to have a big building, not have a leak. It just seems impossible.
We had to replace the gas valve in the RTU C3, but it's up and running. They did 26 work orders this week, so just a busy week.
You
That was-
signed the order that you asked for.
Okay, yeah.
Got several to get done, so.
Seen several cars go down that way and then turn around and have to come back, so they weren't happy, but
Oh, so the gate's in?
gates are up, yeah,
Open your eyes.
yeah. So,
It's a little bit out of the order, but where are y'all on staff now?
there were 10 openings as of last Thursday. We had 2 start this week, so it means we had 4 leave from that last pay period. But really only 3 left. One was military leave. One person had been gone on military leave all year. They finally just resigned. So we've been holding that position all year. So we're at 8 openings.
And have, Collin County folks
Collin
started
County is
arriving?
starting Tuesday,
Tuesday.
and the marshals are bringing 24 on Thursday.
Oh,
So
Okay.
they had their facility in Fort Worth had to be closed for sewer issues
okay.
for a while, like 6 months.
Okay, so you'll see them for some time. And, on Collin County, think about 40,
44.
one pod to handle?
One pod for each of those. So you may see a little bit creep up on overtime. Not much, but
Would imagine the influx of revenue for Collin County and the marshals for both those will more than
oh
cover
yeah,
that though.
like,
We got a check this week from Wellbarger and Baylor.
yeah.
Oh,
We have a few of theirs, so.
okay.
Is there any anticipation that this federal deal will change moving?
Well, we actually met
Any
with ICE
discussion on
on, ICE came up and talked to us on Monday, and they wanted to piggyback off the Marshall plan. So, but, you know, it can only take so many.
First time in about 4 years, probably?
Yeah, they're all waiting. Apparently I learned that their offices in DC, the 11-story building, has worked from home for the last 3.5 years. So,
Would they be interested in an old but wonderful?
well, we've been trying to push that one, but I don't know. It may
Could
not
they be
meet the,
interested
it
in
may
that?
not meet the current standards.
See, and I don't quite understand that for the
One
standards,
owner.
because
Hardly used.
It's not
Yeah.
jail
if you don't
standards.
put U.S. citizens in them, do you really have to go by the Texas jail standards?
It's not Texas jail standards.
Federal.
It's not-
Federal
they're not
jail
being
standards.
held in-
Oh, they have their own
County jail.
book now of jail standards, so.
That will be interesting to watch, though, to see where that heads.
mhm.
Yeah. Meet Doge.
The meeting was really about this, it's a program called 287G. It's a program that we talked with them about 6 years ago for a period of time, and what it basically means, we would send 4 or 6 jailers to a month-long school in South Carolina and be vetted as TFOs, and so they could do all the deportation paperwork in the jail, and they can do all the background paperwork when non-citizens come to jail. Instead of having to reach out to immigration to do that, we could do it in-house.
Any incentive money coming back from the feds to do that?
I don't know, I haven't got that far, but, yeah.
I mean, I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm just,
I bet will they underwrite the school?
Yeah, they pay for all the school,
yeah.
we just have to pay the salary while they're there.
I'm talking, we're providing an additional service through our deputies.
Yeah,
I imagine they would.
Do they get
I'm
an
sure.
incentive pay? What I'm asking is, do they get an incentive pay from the feds?
I would suspect there's probably some type, but we didn't go that far into
Yeah.
it. They've been on a 100-day hold for the last 3.5 years. So every
Okay.
100 days, they told them it's another 100-day hold, so they couldn't do anything.
Chief, just something to be thinking about. So we've got 2 new pods open. I'm guessing that with current staffing levels, still fine, but you're running a little bit more overtime than you would have otherwise. Is there a level of influx of new inmates at which you can't staff?
Well, you
you
know,
gotta-
a few weeks ago, we talked about being 540 was the number. That was an incorrect number. They were counting the ones that we have at the state hospital, and we have 32 there. So really, the true numbers are at around 500.
Okay, plus another 70 now.
So now in the 70s, that gives us about 75 beds and open
Okay,
to fluctuate with.
okay. Yeah, because the other thing we run into is our,
Because almost all the Tarrant County or the Collin County will be the same classification, so they'll stay in the same housing unit. And same with the feds, they'll be in the same classification. So we'll actually just hold them in the same units.
we also run into an issue at, I think at the 650 threshold where the health contract would have to pay
And
extra.
Elmark too.
Yeah.
I think there's a number around 600, I think. But we did have to order supplies, some extra mattresses and stuff that we wouldn't have ordered till January. Had to order to make sure we had plenty on hand.
Okay.
So will all pods be open?
No, 8 pod will still be closed. It's a 48 person pod.
I'm in a different environment than it has been for some time then right now,
Mhm.
both staff and population.
I have one jailer leaving, I know at the end of the month, go to the PD for, their next class, and we have several deputies applying, so.
Will these pods, is this the first time some of them are gonna be used?
Oh, no, they've all been used.
They've all been
Yeah.
used, because I got to thinking about, are we sure we got the public plumbing problems?
Yeah, no,
worked out?
they've all been used, and
Okay.
actually, the 2 pods that were reopening this past week, we've gone in and touched up all the paint, make sure everything's working,
Yeah.
make sure all the plumbing's working. Did a little PM on them before we put anybody in them.
The toilets flush automatically every 12 hours
Yeah.
if they're not used. So,
We don't dry rot that way.
All right. Any other questions?
Well, the numbers, I guess y'all saw the overtime numbers?
We did, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you've got,
Yeah, no, I haven't. So that was the last time so 2 months ago in September, 26th of September, we were at 3,400 hours overtime. So about 1,600 hour cut.
Yeah, that's right. You weren't in yet. I noticed that they always do the projection for us of where we are for the full budget at the end of the year, and this one moved nearly $500,000 in the direction, in a good direction.
Yeah, good direction. We're gonna be close. We're gonna
Yeah.
be right at that. So, but okay, that's all I have.
Thank you, Will.
Questions?
You're welcome.
appreciate it.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks, Will. All right, that is every item, if I'm not mistaken. It is 9:42 and court is adjourned.